Well, guys, not really an easy way to put it, but yesterday was probably one of the hardest days I've experienced, and I think a lot of the community has experienced in the lifespan of Destiny, spanning all the way back to D1. For those of you who are unaware, Bungie had massive layoffs yesterday. Whether that's tied to Sony or Bungie directly obviously isn't known, but we'll be getting into that later in the video. I think a lot of people are also have heard about the fact that the final shape has been delayed to June of next year, roughly a 4-month delay from when was previously announced, which was the end of February. It's going to be some pretty tough times ahead, and first and foremost, I just want to say my heart goes out to everybody that was let go from their jobs today at Bungie. Some extremely talented individuals. That group has helped bring forward some of the most magical content that we've played and why we love, the Destiny franchise as a whole. It's just a tragic 24-hour period for the gaming industry, and in a year where there have been so many incredible games, seeing so many layoffs across the board, across the gaming industry is just wildly concerning. It sucks to see because, I think profit margin is unfortunately just the number one factor for these major game development studios, and the people who make these wonderful experiences kind of get shafted and thrown to the wayside. Among those was community managers Dirty F and Hippie and Sam Bartley. We had the social media lead that was let go, Michael Salvatore, who has, been responsible for some of the greatest soundtracks in Destiny history, obviously alongside Marty O'Donnell, but has been with the studio for, I believe, 24 years, was let go yesterday as well. And to me, that one might be the most shocking of every single one, and maybe an indicator of kind of where the studio is headed over the next year. I think the future of the franchise was already in doubt post-Final Shape. No one really knew what to expect. We know that there's episodes that are coming up and things of that nature, but, the fact that you're getting rid of the person that produces or has a massive influence on the music that's produced for all of your marquee DLCs, for all of your seasonal content, it's largely concerning, because you start to think about, if they don't need the music anymore, or they have a sudden change of heart about who they want producing their music, which I think we can all agree Destiny has some of, if not the best soundtracks in gaming, why wouldn't they need him anymore? Does that mean that there's uncertainty of the production of our favorite game, post Final Shape and post episodes? Because a lot of that work is most likely already done. And not to start a, a panic free-for-all, but I mean, it really is something that we need to start thinking about. It is concerning. Best of luck to everybody that was let go from Bungie, and us as gamers will need to find things to fill the void for the next 8 months roughly, leading up to the Final Shape. So, I think there's a lot of things that need to be said. First and foremost, we're just going to scroll through a couple tweets here, because I think this is pretty telling about the situation at Bungie and the ownership that I guess Sony has kind of implemented, and the structure of the workforce there. So DMG says, getting texts from friends impacted by layoffs this morning. It's frustrating, infuriating even, to continue to see people who strap in to do good work losing their financial security due to poor management. The continued echoes of poor decisions made that feel avoidable. Followed up closely after by Cosmo, who said, today is my worst day at Bungie by far. And there's been some dark times. There's been ups and downs with this franchise. Absolutely gutted to lose so many talented and amazing teammates. Please show them some love and compassion, as each of them contributed to making the game and community great. Just a shame, man. This was then followed up by Pete Parsons, the Bungie CEO, saying, today is a sad day at Bungie as we say goodbye to colleagues who have all made a significant impact on our studio. What these exceptional individuals have contributed to our games and Bungie culture has been enormous and will continue to be a part of Bungie long into the future. The message is nice until you start to realize that this is the CEO tweeting it out, and it sounds very corporately approved, very scripted, and to be blatantly honest, just tone deaf in terms of the timing of this coming out. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. To be honest, yesterday I was talking on stream. I thought this was Sony driven from the top down. They had been doing cuts across the board, massive chunks of their workforce across their various sectors of business. But we get new news that comes out today from Paul Tassi, reporting from a source saying the layoff decisions came directly from Bungie management, not Sony. This is not Sony replacing Bungie employees with their own people. Many employee benefits, though not health insurance, only last until the end of the month if you're let go, and they laid people off on the 30th of the month. Many employees had unvested shares as a result of the Sony purchase. These shares would be received based on staying with the company for a certain number of years following the sale, but those shares revert to Bungie if you leave, even if you're fired, which is what's happening now with many of those who were affected. So this is affecting them monetarily, not only from their job loss, but from unvested shares of stock. And to be honest, I'm actually blown away that this is a Bungie specific move and not driven by Sony in any way, shape, or form. They had a huge influx of cash last year as a result of the Sony deal, and to see all these amazing people being laid off after that huge injection of cash, and that includes the likes of Michael Salvatore, who actually just put out an email this morning, says, "Thanks for reaching out to me and for your kind words. The last 24 hours have been crazy and I'm still sorting through my feelings. Many of my good friends were also let go and I feel awful for them. My heart goes out to everyone who lost their jobs yesterday. Regarding myself, the overwhelming feeling is one of gratitude. Beginning in 1997, Bungie provided me the opportunity to contribute music to some of the most amazing games ever made." Now, this is the part of the email that I find extremely concerning. One of the things that I always loved about being part of the team was our willingness to take risks, which has always been a part of Bungie's DNA. And when we would fail, we wouldn't retreat, we'd reload. That is at the heart of what kept me engaged year after year through success and failure. And I know we can all agree that there's been several ups and downs for Bungie over the last 10-year period. I truly wish the best for my friends who are still here, and I have no doubt that they will right the ship. Something's going on that we don't know about. Whether it's with the delays related to the final shape, or, maybe it's their current sales trajectory based off of previous expansions, or current player numbers. Something's clearly wrong. What a rough couple of days for Bungie. Seeing this news today just makes it compounds it even more for me personally. As someone who worked in a corporate environment at Amazon for 7+ years, I was sure that this had come down the pipe from Sony, and seeing this news today that it's actually driven by decisions of leadership at Bungie itself, there must be a lot changing internally. I also saw people attacking the fact that the Bungie careers page is empty and they've taken down a bunch of listings. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's a good thing, because if Bungie went ahead and opened up positions for roles that they just let people go from, that not only opens them up to a lawsuit for potentially trying to seek cheaper labor just for the sake of doing so without having an actual reason to fire them, it's just straight up disrespectful. The fact that the page is this light indicates that they really are slimming down. I haven't seen the Bungie careers page this empty in a very long time. There are maybe 20 listings on the page right now. Many have none. UI UX, 0. Production, 0. Internship, information technology, consumer products, business operations, and audio, 0 openings whatsoever. There are some in art, there's some in engineering, which there's almost always a need for, game design, which there's almost always a need for. The fact that they've slimmed this down is a sign that there truly is a massive pullback on the Destiny side of game development for the studio, and that they really are trimming their workforce down significantly. So to people who were mad at this, I just wanted to put that to bed, because that's a ridiculous claim to make, and I completely disagree with it wholeheartedly. I think it'd be a bigger slap in the face to those who were let go if the careers page all of a sudden filled up. Now, I also want to touch on a tweet from Paul Tassi. He had an excellent point here with this tweet, and I literally couldn't have worded it better myself. So, layoffs like this without exhausting other options have wide ripple effects. Fired devs suffer directly, which is already happening. Studio suffers losing good people, which they're losing a bunch of really talented individuals in this mass exodus, where they're having to let a ton of people go. Remaining employees suffer seeing friends fired unexpectedly. Just look at the tweets from DMG and Cosmo, and I'm sure you can find dozens of others. And the community loses further faith in Destiny, future projects, and the Sony partnership. Now, if that doesn't ring true today for the majority of Destiny fans, I'm not sure what will, because he's nailed every single point right on the head. I think you've seen community outrage about the firings. People are obviously upset about the game delays, which has honestly taken a massive backseat. I think the release of so many employees is a massive sign of potentially the health of the game, the longevity of the franchise, most of all, just the morality of what's going on in game development across gaming in general. I think so many games are being released, and 2023 has been such an outstanding year for gaming, from Zelda to Starfield to Remnant 2. You've got Lies of P, you have Baldur's Gate, you have Alan Wake 2, and dozens of other titles that are just genuinely outstanding games that should be competing for Game of the Year. And if they weren't all in this same calendar year, they would all have the potential and are good enough to potentially take home that title. It's unfortunate that so many of them fell in the same calendar year, and if you haven't given these games a try yet, with this massive gap up to the final shape, do not burn yourself out on Destiny. Do not force yourself to play it week in and week out, unless you're truly someone that just loves logging in. More power to you. I know for a fact that I will be taking a slight step back from the game. I will still create content on it regularly. I'll still stream it multiple times a week, but I'll definitely be incorporating a lot more variety for my own personal mental health and wanting to keep the game fresh in a period that's likely going to be D1 levels of dry, where we may not have content for a very long time. As for next season, I tweeted this out yesterday, but I'd guess that next season gets pushed back slightly. I have no knowledge of this actually happening. This is just my personal guess. I think you could see this season be extended into January post-holidays, kind of get through the dawning, and then, the next season of Destiny with the new dungeon, which I believe is slated to come out next season, won't have to carry as much of a burden. Instead of it being, 7 months worth of content, it would have to carry like 5.5. So I think a lot of the industry deserves a break during the holidays. I think a lot of gamers will be, semi-distracted, with family, around Thanksgiving and around Christmas, if you celebrate. So I don't think pushing the season back a month and a half would be a terrible thing. That would help space out the stale bits of content between now and June of 2024. And to the people saying that Bungie should release a reprise raid or unvault all of the stuff from the DCV, please be realistic. They've let go a bunch of vital employees to their business, have delayed the final shape, the end of their 10-year saga as a franchise, that they're doing that because they have the resources to do so. They absolutely don't. And I hope, maybe they'll pull something out of a hat, potentially revamp something for the community to tide us over in some way, shape, or form. But for those of you who are expecting this or demanding this, please be realistic. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk this out, kind of provide additional context from someone who was in a corporate position previously. And I hope you guys found this discussion useful. Let's hope for the best for the future of Destiny. I think we all love it, more than any other game that we've ever played. There's a reason you guys are here watching this content right now. Let's hope that they are able to keep producing the magic that we've all come to know over the last 10 years. But until next time, guys, I'm above, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.